Are you ready to expand your life and reality? Join us for the next hour with Jamie Bates as she shares life-changing thoughts, techniques, and awarenesses to help you expand your reality.
Hello and welcome. I am Jamie Bates, consciousness facilitator and expander of realities. My mission with my radio show is to create greater awareness of what is possible and to expand you beyond the limitations of this reality. I am grateful that you're joining me today. And today I am talking to those of you going through a total deconstruction. Those of you that feel like life just keeps coming after you and everything might feel like it's falling apart. Maybe you're feeling like you can't catch a break, like life just keeps happening to you over and over and you have no control and maybe even no way out. Today I'm going to share with you lots of information that's going to help you and help you right now, okay? So number one, we're going to understand where you have been functioning, where you've been functioning in this reality, okay? Number two, we're going to talk about the importance of this destruction phase that you are going through. I understand completely how very painful and upsetting and terrible and difficult this might be. So I'm going to really talk about how important that this is that you experience this for your own soul's growth. Number three, I'm going to talk about what to do now, how to create that moving forward for yourself, okay? And also today I'm going to share with you my destruction phase, actually several layers of my destruction phase, and how when you elevate to a certain phase, if you will, in your awakening, phase is the closest word I can think of here, how it evens out and how you no longer have to be the effect of this painful crumble and really why you want to go through it and get to the other side. So we'll have a lot to cover today. Today I really wanted to take some time. The group, my free group on Facebook is just growing like crazy, which is so super duper exciting. Now we have well over 2,000 members, and I'm getting a lot of people, new people who are really, their life is crumbling, falling apart, and I wanted to really speak to you guys in particular, okay, because I want to really acknowledge, number one, I totally get it. I absolutely positively know how very difficult life feels for you right now. And I wanted to give you some hope. I wanted you to know that this deconstruction is required, okay? Every single person waking up in this reality right now is going through some level of destruction. And if you, depending on where you're at in your journey, you may have already gone through a couple levels of destruction and you're like, oh my gosh, how much more of this I can take? I don't know. Uh, but today I want to really talk about that. I want to really give you some hope and really instill that this deconstruction is a very, very required thing to happen in your life so you can move forward and rebuild. So let's talk about that first. So number one, let's talk about deeply understand where we have been functioning and why this deconstruction is so important to truly change our lives, to truly wake up. So if you've never listened to my radio show before, maybe you've heard me tell the story at least 800 times. I'm going to tell it one more time. So in 2012, we experienced a massive shift. The earth shifted, you know, when we had the end of the world as we know it, when the Mayan calendar ended, we had a massive shift here on planet Earth. And it actually shifted the way that the Earth was in alignment with other planets, and it created a forward motion of what we are going through right now, which is the awakening. And what we've been going through this whole year in particular, we're going through a 9-year cycle, and we are smack dab almost over seven, I guess, over 7 years, because 2021, which is next year, next December, actually ends the 9-year cycle. We are towards the end of the 9-year cycle. And what's going on right now is, in the big picture, the form and structure is crumbling in this world. Okay, and I have done lots of shows this year in particular about form and structure, about how everything has to crumble in order to be rebuilt. And that's exactly what's happening in your life right now. And it feels very like it's falling apart, right? You're probably losing people in your life that maybe you've had in your life for your whole life, potentially. Maybe you're losing partners and friends and family members, and that is okay. Can we just say that for a moment? Take a nice deep breath. It's okay. You know, much of how this reality has been built up before 2012, much of of the life that we have lived, has been built upon form and structure that actually doesn't work for us and for this world as a whole. Okay, it's important to understand that. That's what we've been going through since 2012, is the deconstruction of many of these systems. It's a rebooting, if you will, of the whole matrix system. Now, many of us, what we're discovering right now is we have been functioning within the matrix. Okay, I'm going to talk about this in a way that I hope we can understand, that we have been functioning within the form and structure within this reality, right? The rights, the wrongs, the goods, the bads. What we're waking up to is the realization of how very powerful. It's like we've been living within the matrix structure where we're essentially the victim to circumstances. There's been so many rules and belief systems, and if you do this, this is what happens, right? Well, that form and structure is crumbling as we know it right now, okay? Form and structure is literally crumbling underneath our feet. And what we're discovering within that crumble is that we have capacities within ourselves to shape, to create, to be and do things that are way different than we've ever been and done. You know, just like me, I'm sure you grew up and, you know, we were told what to do, how to do it, where to go, what to be, what to do, right? I mean, I know when I was young, I never had any choice. Nobody told me that this world was an amazing oyster of 8,000 possibilities. No, as you get up every day, you do the same thing because that's what you have to do, because that's what this reality requires of you, right? You're not allowed to think for yourself or really do for yourself. You just have to get in line and follow the crowd. And we built a life on getting in line and following the crowd. And the reality is that life really didn't work for you in any way, shape, or form. It caused a ton of pain. You did things, you signed up for things, you maybe went to college to be something you didn't even really want to be. But you know, in eighth grade, I mean, they told you that you had to be that, right? So you did, right? We have spent our life building our life for other people's ideas of what is going to create our best life, instead of really looking at what truly is going to create our best life. I know that's true for me. I had really no awareness of what I wanted to do or choose or be in this reality. I just followed the crowd. And actually, the whole reason I feel like I even really got into the work I do today wasn't even really my idea. I mean, not that I hadn't already been doing this to some capacity when I was younger. But one day, after my first level of destruction, shortly after my uh, then husband, when I was married, and I had babies at the time, and he had filed for divorce, I found myself in a position of being lost and having no idea how to move forward and what to do and what to choose. And somebody said something to me, and I followed that awareness because I had no awareness of what to do. And this is what happens to us. We follow the inklings of information that other people tell us we should do or choose because we don't know how to make decisions for ourselves, because guess what? Nobody's told us. Literally, this is the first thing that I help people do when I start working with them, because this is the first thing that we have to understand in our lives. No one has taught us how to have choices. We just go with the flow. We do things that we think we should do because they're the right things to do. And grandma said, or Aunt Marva said it was a good idea. And we build this whole life around these ideas that really truly don't even really fit who we are. And then we get upset with ourselves and internalize this wrongness of us because we can't make what someone else told us we should do work for ourselves. And then we spin in this overwhelming sense of feeling upset and depressed and overwhelmed with our life, when in actuality, most of the life we're living doesn't really work for us anyways. It's taken me a long time of introspection to get to a place where I can acknowledge that my first marriage that fell apart, which really started my Great Awakening back in 2007, was really truly the greatest gift to me, because I wasn't happy in that relationship. I had convinced myself I was happy in that relationship. I had convinced myself that this was exactly what I desired. But it truly didn't work for me, and I didn't even understand that. I spent most of my day in resistance of what was going on, being upset with my husband, being upset with the way my life was turning out, being frustrated and agitated and irritated about everything. And then when that fell apart, I was devastated. When in all actuality, that was really, truly, probably one of the best things that could have happened. Now, there's a lot of information and a lot of pain within all of that. At least when I was going through it, it was very painful. It was very hard. It was a very difficult situation in my life. And as I continued to move through and I started getting closer and closer to who I was, I started throwing myself into massage therapy and doing readings and helping people. I've been doing readings since I was a teenager. I first started doing energy healing, gosh, over 20 years ago. And it's taken me a majority of my life to return to the space of allowing myself to be this, not only for me, because this is the truest expression of me, but for every single person who I help, who I give a tool to, no matter how long I help them in their journey. This is who I am. Had I stayed in that marriage and in a relationship that didn't work for me, doing things that didn't really work for me, would have never been to the expression that I am now. And as I've continued on, there's been many ways. I did a show a while ago. It was called Whose Life Am I Living Anyways? And that was when I had married my husband that I'm married to now, and we bought the big house, right? I had to have the 5-bedroom, 3-bath house, and we had to live in the little neighborhood with the fences and just because that's what you do, right? And it was one day when I woke up and I thought, whose life am I living anyway? So much about the life I was living that really truly didn't work for me. Still, even though my first crumbling had taken me to a new space, my next crumbling was even greater because I was more firm in who I was. Somebody had posted this morning in the Facebook group, and I wanted to really share this today because she was talking about how she was going through a lot of difficulties in her life, which so many of us are, right? We're going through a lot of difficulties in our life. And she had said that she had returned home last night, and she had a flood in her home. And it brought back so many memories of my deconstruction phase when me and my husband actually had, we really were were moving forward more and more on a path than we had ever been. And we had our house up for sale, and I had just recently closed or sold my healing center and closed my location, and we were on this path, and everything felt like it was really truly shifting and changing, and we were moving forward. And we were celebrating, we had went out, we were celebrating, and while we were gone on our celebration, we were celebrating because we had put our home up for sale, and we were getting an offer the next day, and we were celebrating the offer. We were excited to move forward, sell our home, and we had returned home, and our house had flooded. And it was one of those moments where I was like, really? Can't catch a break, right? Life just keeps happening over and over. We have no control, no way out. But that flood was actually the best thing that could have happened to us. Because although in the moment, in the very first moment, it was scary and it was overwhelming and it felt very difficult, in the end, it turned out way greater than we ever imagined. That's what you have to get here in the deconstruction. Okay, the importance of the deconstruction is it's creating new space for you. It's taking out of the things out of your life that are causing you pain and upset. And even though it feels very painful and very upsetting, if you shift your focus from what's falling apart to what could be created because of the fall apart, everything changes. So when we were going through that deconstruction ourselves, when our house flooded, I really shifted my mindset to how can this turn out even better than we ever imagined possible? How can all of this unfold way greater than ever before? And you know what it did? It totally did. Because not only were we packing, because we were getting ready to move, okay? So interestingly enough, we had packed up. We had a huge garage sale, okay, because we had been selling our house for a little while. We had a huge garage sale, and we had a whole bunch of just basically junk that we were going to donate, old books, things we didn't want anymore, I guess. It wasn't all junk. It was things we didn't want anymore. And we had boxed them all up. I had boxed them up from the garage sale. We had been going through things, cleaning things out. We had been using the basement as a staging area. So we had boxes and totes and things full of books, and we had actually just been down there earlier that day, and I had all the totes open. I was separating things. It was things all over the basement as we were getting ready to prepare ourselves for this big move that we were getting ready to take and donate. We had moved some furniture downstairs. It was kind of like our staging area, right? Well, when we had the flood, what was interesting was it was on the main floor, and it flooded the whole main floor, and it literally ruined a whole bunch of electronics and things. And the water actually, because it was on the main floor, it actually flowed down into the basement. So what happened was everything that was in the basement basically got ruined because it got rained on for like 5 hours. Okay, because we had a pipe bust, and it basically just over flooded the house for like 5 hours while we were gone. And it essentially redid. What ended up happening was everything, insurance adjuster came, and everything that was in the basement we got paid for because it had gotten ruined, right, from all of the water. And so all of that stuff we were going to donate ended up paying us money. Basically the whole main floor basically got all flooded out, so all the flooring had to be replaced, the refrigerator, the electronics in the living room. But what happened was we got the whole house redone right before we were going to sell it. Plus, the insurance company paid us lots of money for all that stuff we were going to donate. And it was like, plus even an additional bonus. It was summertime. It was the beginning of summer. And we got paid to stay away from our house because of the flood. right? They had to, it was hot, it was summer, but they had to dry everything out. So they had to make the house like 100 and I don't know, 20 degrees for like 2 weeks. And then the floors were getting done. And anyways, the insurance company paid for us to stay somewhere. So we got to go on vacation and got paid. And it was like, wow. I mean, it was uncomfortable, right? There was a lot of things that were irritating about the subject, right? But I stayed space and I breathed and I used the techniques that I teach to create ease. And I kept asking that house, just pay me money. Just pay me money. I will live through this. Just pay me money. So instead of focusing on the terrible, awful, bad things that were happening, I was focusing on all of the amazing things that could come from this experience. I think that's the most important shift to understand. So what you're going through right now is a deconstruction because you're deconstructing yourself from the systems that no longer work for your life. And although I understand it can be painful, especially like when I went through my divorce, it was the most painful thing I'd ever experienced in my life. And if you're going through something similar, I get it. I feel your pain. But know that you're going through that right this moment and you're listening to this show. You were led here to know that at the end of this, you will come out of this better, your life will be easier, and you will set it up in a new way. Take a nice deep breath. It's time. It's time to stop living in a life that doesn't work for you. It's time to allow the universe to come in and shift and change and release and remove everything that no longer works for you. It's important to go through this deconstruction phase so your life can be deconstructed, so it can be rebuilt in a way that works for you. It's time to learn how to make choices, how to feel your truth, how to know what path to take. So when these new experiences arise for you, you know where to go and what to do and what to choose. Take a nice deep breath. I understand that the crumble is painful. I completely understand it. And to this, I say to you, today is episode 101. I'm super excited about that. I'm very grateful to be doing this radio show for as long as I have. Actually, I have way more than 101 episodes because I had the first 4 or 5 months that I was doing this show was actually a live radio broadcast, and I switched it over to podcasts. And so I have 101 podcasts, but I actually have probably 40 radio shows as well. It's time. It's time for you to release and let go and move on. It's time to learn how to make choices. This is the most important skill you will ever learn, how to make choices, how to feel energies in your body, how to be able to navigate this reality by feeling what your body wants to do and choose, by feeling what's true for you inside your body. Allow your life to lead you. Take a nice deep breath. This deconstruction of your life is required. It's part of the awakening. It's part of the transformation. We do so many things because we think it's a good idea. We've set up our life because, maybe we wanted to impress our parents, or we wanted to, help our grandma feel better about life. And so we chose things that created chaos and hurt and upset and overwhelm in our life. And right now the universe is calling to you that it's time to release and let go of those things that no longer work. It's time to find what sparks your soul and ignites your life and makes you come alive. It's time to come alive. There's no more time to be spending in realities that don't work. There's no more time to be hating and living a life full of emotional upset and overwhelm and all of it. It's time. I'm just going to vortex this through for a moment. Take a nice deep breath. I have a lot of things coming, you guys. Always. I'm always working on lots of things. It's like this is what I do. It's so fun for me to be a creator. It's so fun for me to offer these amazing tools. I have a program that is coming out of retirement. It's the Ask and Receive program. And I really, literally, I recorded this program a few years ago, and it still is a fan favorite. So many people tell me that they still listen to that show or that program, and it's coming back out, and I'm offering it for a very special price. If you are really truly ready to shift and change your life, this program is for you. This program is a beginner's program. Essentially, it's all about asking and receiving. Okay, so there's 4 kind of longer calls where we ask and receive for ease, alignment, for money, and for joy. Okay, asking and receiving for ease, no matter what you're going through in your deconstruction process right now, when you start asking for things to turn to ease, it allows the universe to kind of come in and create a different experience. It doesn't mean it's going to take away what you're going through right now, but it is going to help make the process easier. So as you go through your deconstruction phase, it's very important to understand that these things are going to fall away and new things are going to be built. The faster you can get into the mindset where you can get out of the struggle and get more into the surrender, right? The surrender of what's going on, and start really asking for, this to be easy, for you to go into alignment of who you be, for you to have the money to show up that you require, for the universe to direct you into the energy of joy. So this Ask and Receive journey is a 30-day journey. You can find out more, actually. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the link is going to be available on my website. It will be on Facebook for sure, though. Essentially, it's coming out. It's only going to be a low cost program, and it's really truly going to help you get into something different fast. It's going to take you on a 30-day journey to really truly helping you through this crumbling phase. Okay, because I get it. I know it's painful. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult to shift your mindset. So this Ask and Receive program is going to help you really truly get into a new space. Let's take a nice deep breath. It's time. It's time to really acknowledge what you're capable of creating. It's time to start listening to those inner yearnings of what you desire to do. It's time to align your life with the true expression of you. No more doing for others, no more creating for others. It's time to find the alignment of who you are. Let's just vortex this out for a moment. Take a nice deep breath. We are in the most powerful time right now. Today is August 5th, 2020. And, these next, 16 months are going to be the most powerful time of transformation we have ever experienced. And it's so important to have your mindset in a new place. It's important to understand that you are a powerful creator and your thoughts are creating your reality. So the more and more you can get into the expansiveness, the lightness, the ease of being here, the easier your deconstruction phase is going to be. Take a nice deep breath. It's all about learning new habits. It's all about learning a new way to be. It's all about understanding that the reason you have gotten to the place that you've gotten right now is based on how this reality was set up. It's not because you're a terrible person or you've made awful choices or any of that. It's because you have been the effect of living within the system. Now we're breaking free. The system is deconstructing, and it's time to learn how to build your own. It's time to learn how to live in the flow of the massive possibilities that are available to us. Now is the time to wake up. It's a time to shift and change. It's time to transform your life. Take a nice deep breath. If you haven't joined me yet in my free group on Facebook, The Conscious Empath, please do so. We're having so much fun in there. We're sharing information. People are asking questions. We're sharing awarenesses. It's really, truly a great time. It's the Conscious Empath on Facebook. Also, my like page is the Conscious Empath as well, and it's growing like crazy, and I'm super excited and super grateful. I am also going to have a new thing that's opening on Facebook. I'm going to be doing a new VIP Facebook group available on Facebook. I'm not exactly sure of all of the details, but if you join my group, you will get the details where you can join me every single week for a Facebook Live. We're going to talk about current happenings. We're going to do some polls, some receives, some shifts, some change, kind of a deeper level clearing, if you will. So you can join me for that as well. So many amazing things happening. So many amazing things are becoming available to us. It's time to jump in, you guys. It's time to jump in and allow yourself the space to be the amazing being that you be. Take a nice deep breath. Let's do this. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I hope I gave you some hope, some information that you're not going to be living in this heavy and hard forever. This is just temporary as your system deconstructs and as you build anew moving forward. Use some tools. It's so important to help you shift and change your life. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and I will talk to you next week. Have a great day.
You have been listening to Expand Your Reality with your host, Jamie Bates. Thank you for listening.